Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Marina Pantazi and I'm an English teacher. I have studied English language and literature and I specialize in teaching young learners, very young learners from 2 till 6 years old using interactive materials. Before we start, I would like to mention that I am from Greece. This period, Greece experiences really bad conditions because of the fire that has caused a big destruction in our area. However, teachers are inspirators of hope, of happiness. So my goal for the year is to make my students that suffered from the fire have fun, learn more, and experience really nice teaching. So the reason of my presentation is to present some interactive ways of practicing the orthographic awareness of students. Usually, my students complain about the part of the writing. They usually say, "Oh, miss, I'm bored. I don't want to write. I am tired. I have written a lot today." So I decided to find a way to make them write without using even a pen or a pencil. However, what I have to mention here is that this can be applied only for very young learners and not for advanced levels, because the vocabulary that the advanced levels have to learn is much bigger, so they cannot use interactive materials to write. Also, young learners can have easier fun using these interactive materials. During the presentation, you will have the opportunity to watch some photos with the interactive materials, and I will have the opportunity to show you some realia if they can be seen through the camera. So the solution to all these arguments that the students have, that they don't want to write, they're bored, is the interactive writing. When we say interactive writing, we mean using different materials that we have in our homes or games, like spoons, glasses, sticky notes, snap cubes, tongue depressors, even the letters that in Scrabble we have, and so on. You will have the opportunity to watch some pictures. So let's start with the first way of interactive writing. The first way is using plastic spoons. Here we have the word computer. The word computer is a really tough word for the students. So we write on the spoons different letters, we mix them up, and we ask the students to put them in the correct order in order to form the word computer. You can use letters that you can use spoons that have got different colors, and you can divide your class into different teams, boys and girls. The girls could have pink spoons and the boys blue spoons, so you can create a challenge in your class and ask them in a particular timeline to write the words that you want them to produce. Of course, firstly, you have to have already visualized the words so the students have an image, and then ask them to write them. Here we have the word computer, and here the word spoon. Here I have some spoons to have an image of what I mean. For example, B-O-X. Maybe you will have the opportunity to say them on the other side, but it is okay. So you mix them up, and then you ask the students to form the words that you want them to practice. Nice. Now, another way of interactive writing is on the soaps. There are many stickers with the Latin letters, the English alphabet. You can provide your students with a sticker book. So the goal of the year would be to fill in the sticker book. The student that will have a full sticker book will be the winner. and will win a present in the end. So you can take a piece of paper or even a sticker book, give some stickers to the students and ask them to glue them on a particular paper. The stickers can be colorful in order to be more attractive for the students, and then they will have to stick them on the paper. Again, you can create a challenge with a sticker book that I mentioned before, or whatever you believe will be funny for your students. Here we have the words mother and father. Try to apply and use words that are tough for your students. That's why you need these interactive ways to practice. Moving on, we have tongue depressors. Tongue depressors that usually dentists use. However, here we have tongue depressors for crafts. They are colorful, as far as you can see, and in each depressor you can write a letter, mix up the depressors, and then ask the students to put them in the correct order in order to write the word that you want. The tongue depressors can be of the same color, so the students will have the opportunity to examine if the word is correct. So we use the same color of tongue depressors for autocorrection, for self-correction. Or even what else you can do is to glue on each tongue depressor a part of the picture that the word depicts. For example, here we have the word baby. In each tongue depressor, you can glue a particular picture, a part of the picture of the word baby. So when the students put the tongue depressor one next to the other, the depressors form the picture of the baby. In this way, the students will be sure that the word they have written, the word they have produced, is correct. Of course, colorful and multiple colors of the tongue depressors are also really funny for your students. It's up to you what you want to use. Here, as far as I've told you, we have the word baby. Here I have some other tongue depressors to show you. Here my students have written the word pen. Here do the first lessons. It depends on the age of the students. I usually do this at 6-7 years old. So when you want to practice their names, you can create a case of paper where an envelope, a small envelope, where you will have prepared some cases. In each case, you put the tongue depressor. Below, you write the name of the student. You mix up the depressors in the cases, and then you ask the students to put the depressors in the correct case in order to write their names. In this way, they can practice this activity many, many times, because they don't have to write just their names in a piece of paper and that will be all with a pencil. They write their names over and over again. They really like it. It's really funny for them. They say, yes, I'm not writing today. What a funny game. And in this way, you can practice that over and over again. It can also be a part of an interactive notebook that you can create for them. And this is the reason why, not only for reasons of excitement and funny thing, but also of the repetition that can be applied to this activity. You can do it many times. This can be part of the interactive notebook, as I have already told you. To continue with, you can play Scrabble with your students. The Scrabble has got some letters of the English alphabet. Even if you don't play Scrabble, you can just give the small cases where they can put the letters that they have. And in this way, the other student cannot see the word that his classmate has written. This is one use that you can apply, or even to play Scrabble as usual. In this way, they can form words, but you should adjust the activity on the vocabulary that your students already know, not new things that they have never seen. Here the students have written the word foot. Again, you can use these small letters, mix them up in the case, and then they have to put them in the correct order and write the word foot. It's up to you. It's up to you what you're going to do, what is more convenient for you. So here we have Scrabble. I haven't got any kind of Scrabble here, but The next activity that you can apply is using clothespins. Clothespins are also really useful for the students. Here I have these clothespins. On each clothespin, you can write a letter, and then they can pin them on a tongue depression and write the word. On a side of the tongue depression, you could write. In other cases, even if you don't create a small craft in the tongue depression, you can just ask them to write the word that you want. Here the students have written the word book. To be honest, use this activity with close vocabulary because it works really well. We set up a rope in our class, and I have with me some realia, some real clothes, dresses, skirts, whatever. And I ask my students to pin the clothes on the rope using these clothespins, and in parallel write the word according to the cloth that they are pinning on the rope. For example, if we have a dress, I ask them to pin the dress on the rope and use the appropriate clothespins that write dress in order to pin the dress. They really like it. It's a kind of an everyday activity that they do at their homes every day. And they're really happy about it, especially the girls, because they usually want to do what their mummies do at home. So they really enjoy it. It's really funny for them. And of course, it needs much preparation from the student to bring in the class realia, to prepare the clothespins and so on, but it is okay. If you want, you can do it. You can also do this with numbers. Here I have the number 2. I have glued here the number 2 with a small sticker, and I have asked the students to write the word 2 because usually numbers from 1 to 10 are really difficult for them to write. So you can mix up the clothespins and then ask them to put them in the correct order to write the word 2, the number 2. Okay, nice. Now, another way is by using this small board that is seen on your screen now. This is the kind of board that we give to our students for the first writing activities that they do while they are from 2 years old and on. Actually, here the students use a kind of pencil, but the sense that they have while they're writing is much more different than when they're using when they use a real pen or pencil. If you have tried to use this kind of board and this kind of pencil, you will explore it. It's not tiring, it's really funny, and it gives you a really nice sense on your hand while you're writing. I cannot actually describe it, but for me, that I'm an adult, I really like it. And I sometimes use it when I want to teach something, not only for spelling activities that my students have to do, but also for my own teaching. Of course, if your class is big, you need to have a lot of such boards, but if you cannot afford it, you can just use some of them and divide your class into groups. The next activity that you can do using interactive materials is magnetic letters. Magnetic letters are really funny for the students. Usually on the shop there are boxes with magnetic letters that everybody can buy. If you have a magnetic board in your class, you can use it, but even the same box that I have here is magnetic, so we have stuck somehow the letters on the box, and we have produced words that we want. Here, as far as you can see, we have written the word nest. The students like the magnetic letters because when they try to put it in a particular place that is magnetic, they like the fact that somehow the letter is pulled but by somebody else. So this pulling is really funny for them. It's like the letter is in the air. So they really enjoy it every time that we apply this activity. Nice. Now, another activity is by using some craft cubes. These cubes are also in the shops, usually craft shops that you may find. And I usually use them as dices. They're these, they're wooden. In each side of the cube you can write a letter, the letter that you want. And then ask the students to form the word that you desire. And what I usually do is that I use these cubes as dices. We take a lot of cubes like these and we put them in a small glass. So they mix them up in this way. They mix them up and they throw them down. They fall down, and then with the letters that you can find in its side, they try to form a word. I'll say this case, they can have a timeline. So the winner will be the one that is going to write the biggest word. The sound that the cubes do into the glass is really nice. They really like it because it makes a really hard sound. But also you can put it in a plastic bag, like this. You can close the plastic bag, mix it up, open the bag, throw them down, and then the students can form the words that they want. Also, the cubes can be colorful if you want, in order to be more appealing, more attractive for the students, especially very young learners who like colors. But the idea of the plastic glass, trust me, is really, really nice. They really enjoy the sound. And the challenge of making the biggest word in the class is much more attractive for them. As far as I can see from your comments, I understand and you understand that it needs really hard work to make all these materials. It really needs days and nights. But if you want to motivate your students, you need to remain awake days and nights in order to form this material, and you have to have in mind that this material is going to accompany you in all your life, in all your teaching career. So don't worry, it will spend some days, but later you can use it whenever you want. The next idea is one of my favorite ones. You can use beads that we usually use for necklaces, like this one. So in each bead, you can write a letter and then form a necklace using the beads in the correct order. Here in the necklace, we have written the word beautiful. We usually do this activity in Happy Mother's Day. So the students have the ability to give this necklace to their mummies and daddies. This necklace is my mom's necklace that I have given to her. That she's also an English teacher, and she has inspired me much for this activity. So from the picture you can see that we have formed the word beautiful. The word beautiful is a really tough word for students, but with this necklace it is much simpler than you could imagine. So here we have written the word beautiful. The students can take this necklace at home and wear them, or they can even give them to their mummies, as far as I have told you. Here it is. You can use different beads, colorful beads, whatever that would be attractive for your students. Then, here we have one more picture with the necklace, with beautiful. You can not only write the word beautiful, but some other words, whatever you want, whatever you find is difficult for your students. Moving on, plastic glasses are also really useful. You can write on plastic glasses letters or whole words, and then ask your students to write a particular sentence or a word that you want, whatever. Here we have written the sentence, I am a boy. The glasses could also be colorful with different colors, and under each glass you can hide a treat where when the students take off the class, they can find the tray at end and be more strong and be stronger to write the sentence that he wants to write. I am a boy, or just simple letters on each glass, and so on. Nice. Now, snap tubes are really awesome. Snap tubes are usually used by babies when they make towers, but they can also be used in the EFL class. Here, it is a more advanced activity. It's not only for young learners. You can apply on young learners by using in each snap tube a particular letter and then ask them to make a tower by writing a word. But you can also write whole sentences. Here you can see they have got pens. This is a sentence. But you can also use it for grammatical phenomenon, like past simple. Here we have the word do, which is an irregular verb in past simple. So you can ask your students to match the form of the infinitive with the irregular form in past simple, do, did. You can also do this for suffixes in present simple and in plurals. Present simple in the pronoun she, it takes s, es, or is, and in plurals we have some other suffixes but also irregular nouns. And you can also ask them to match the noun with the plural form, or the noun with the irregular form in the verb with the irregular form in past simple, or even the suffix that the verb takes in present simple in the pronouns she, it, where the students usually struggle because it's not easy for them to study the suffixes that take a particular suffix. For example, when the noun ends to she, sh, x, o, s, or just s, it takes an es. It's not easy for them to study this and learn it by heart. So what we do is to apply these activities in order to make them through experience learn the suffix that they take. Here we have the word strawberry. Of course, we have dropped the y from the strawberry and add the is. It is just an example to show you how it works. Strawberries, and other words. We can also have the word go, and then the suffix es, goes, in present simple. That's all with the snap tubes. Also, one of my favorite activities is the beans, that we use them for eating them, but you can also use them for producing words. What I have to mention here is that beans are really dangerous for young learners because they can eat them without even understanding it. So you have to be careful, and you can apply it in older learners, 7, 8 years old. It's up to you. Here we have written the word ice cream. In each bean, you write the letter that you want using a permanent marker. And then ask the students to put the beans in the correct order to form a word. You can also create a soup of beans, mix the soup with the beans, and then take some beans out. And with the beans that you have, you can write the word that you want. Here we have written the word ice cream. The next picture, we're waiting for a bit. The caps of the plastic bottles are also really useful for writing words and practicing the spelling abilities of your students. You can spread the plastic caps in your class and then ask the students to find them. It is like a kind of hunting. So you divide your class into 2 teams. The teams hunt for the plastic cups, and then with the cups that they have collected, they need to write words. Or even you can provide your students with the plastic cups and then ask them to form a particular word. But I suggest you to create this challenge in your class in order to be more funny and more exciting for them. So here we have written the word window. You see that the caps that are black are not easy to write on them, but you can just cut a piece of paper, glue it on the cap, and write the letter that you want. About the age of the students, look, it's up to the teaching method that you use. I mean, in my school, we start teaching English from 2 years old. So you say that when the students are 6, 7 years old, it's really easy for them to do this activity. But for the students that have never attended English classes before, it's not easy for them to do this activity at the first time because they have not they have not been learned the English alphabet. So first you need to teach the English alphabet, letter name, letter sound, and then move on the spelling part. It's up to the teaching that you have done and not exactly the age. Of course, students that are from 6 and on, it's much easier for the students that are from 6 and on, it's much easier for them to do this activity. So plastic caps are also amazing. They're not just, they're really useful. And then we're moving on one of my other favorite activities. Here we have sponks. Sponks with English letters. I have bought them from England. The soap is called Hamleys, I'm not sure, and I don't know if it helps you. It's not promotion, I'm just mentioning because I know that usually teachers try to find ways to explore new materials. So you can just use the sponks in order to write the word that you want, or even you can dip the sponks into color and then make stamps on a paper. The students can take the paper at home, or you can decorate the class with these papers with the stamps. Also, the word bed is a really tough word because usually students confuse B and D. So you can practice this word. The next activity is bowling. You can play bowling with your students. You can write some letters on cones, and then when you read the sentence, you can ask your students to play bowling. Firstly, you write the sentence or the word that you want. Here we have written the word plane, and then you ask your students to play bowling. So you make an arrangement and you say, firstly we will write the word and then we will play bowling. Do you agree? Yes or no? So also bowling is a really nice idea for your class and especially young learners. You can also do this for the part of the suffixes that I have mentioned before. I mean, with present simple, irregular verbs, and so on. It's really much useful for older students. Here we have just written a word and then we played bowling using the bowling ball. Nice. Now, you can also play basketball in your class. A small basket that can be glued on the wall is really useful. We use small balls. In the balls, in each ball, you have written a letter, and then you ask the student to throw the ball into the basket one by one in the correct order in order to write a word. If we were together and it wouldn't be an online conference, we could just try this activity. In the previous conference, we have tried it and it was really fun. I repeat, you take balls, you write on each ball the letter that you want, and then you ask the students to throw the ball into the basket in the order that the letters of the word are. So basketball is really fun, especially for the boys in the class. Also, puzzles of words. Puzzles of words are really useful. Here I have printed some words and then I have kept them with special scissors. So when the students make the puzzle, they can form the word. If the puzzle is not made, this means that the word is not correct. You can use this in an interactive notebook and use a CD case to put inside the pieces of the puzzle in order not to be lost and of course to make the students be curious about what is hidden inside the CD case. We have written the word dog, I feel. I'm not sure. Oh, no, the word rabbit, it is. we have formed the word rabbits. Here you see that the puzzle is made, so the students are sure that the word is correct. If the puzzle is not made, this means that something goes wrong. This is the word rabbit. All these can be included into an interactive notebook that the students can take home and practice at all. Now, another activity would be with some stickers that are also on the shops. They are usually used for tags in pencils and pens of the students in order not to be lost at school. We write their last name. We usually write their last name. And in their stickers, on their stickers, I have written the letters that I want. And then I have asked the students to glue the stickers on their paper, on their notebook, and write the word that I'm asking them. Here we have practiced the numbers. 1, you see, from the picture. This is 1. I'm not sure if you can see the whole picture because it is uploaded very slowly. Can you do it? Can you see the picture as a whole? So here we have the word 1 with the stickers that I've told you. These stickers are usually used for tags, as I've told you, in pens, pencils, and so on. And then you can glue them on your notebook. The next activity is a kind of blackboard. On the shops, there are stickers of blackboard that you can glue on the walls of your class or even into the interactive notebooks of your students, where the students can write using a chalk. Usually students like chalks because they have the opportunity to write using a chalk. They usually ask if you have a blackboard in your class, Miss, can I come on the board and write with the chalk? This is why they like the chalk, and secondly, because they like being in front of the other students, some of them, not all. So putting a blackboard into their notebook is really funny for them. Here I have written the name of our school, Play and Learn English, because learning is fun. We play and learn. And they can write whatever they want. This can be erased with their hands or even with a wet paper, and then they can rewrite whatever they want, so they can be used over and over again. The only thing that they have to provide them is chalks that you can put in a small envelope that will be glued on their notebook, and inside it you can put the chalks that they want them to use. You can also create letters with the beans that I've shown you previously. Except from words where you have written the letters, you can create just the letters of the alphabet, A, B, C. They put them in an order, they create shapes, and they write the letter that they want. Here we have written the letter A. Useful could also be the safe foam. You can use safe foaming with a bit of food coloring in order to trace the letters or the words that you want. This is a multi-sensory activity that can be applied also to dyslexic students, because don't forget that your students, your class, may include dyslexic students. Activities. Multisensory activities include the most of the senses. So here, safe foaming with a bit of color, pink for girls, blue for boys, whatever you want, is really funny for them. Of course, it is a mess for the class, but if you are patient, you can clean them all, and of course you can ask the students to clean them in the end, because these are the ones that have created this mess. So safe foaming is one of my favorite. Of course, be careful because they are curious of tasting it and eating it. So sometimes it's really dangerous for them. Now, another activity is with chocolate. There are some patterns for chocolate that you can use. And they include letters, English letters. This, you can melt the chocolate, put it in the patterns, and then you can have English letters as chocolate beads. So they can form the word that you want. Here we have formed the word funny. It's foaming, save for saving, but the man use. So you can use this chocolate in order to write the words that you want, and when the word is correct, they can eat the chocolate. Again, you should be aware of many allergies that the students have, and they suffer from them. So you should be aware of the health problems that the students have. But they usually really like it. It's a reward for them, because don't forget that rewards are really important for students. It's a reward. And of course, you practice the spelling abilities of your student. Next activity is balloons. Balloons are also really useful for students. You can write on the balloons letter and then ask them to make a line, a queue, stand next to each other and form the word. When the word is correct, here you have seen we have written the word apple, and I have crafted an apple in order to make them understand that I want them to write the word apple. So when they finish with the word formation, you can tie the balloons on their legs and then ask them to run and try to break the balloons of each other. This is a really nice activity. They really have fun because games are also really important. So except from forming the word apple, you can play a game in the end. Then, writing in the air is also really useful for the students. You can write with your little finger. You can write with your nose. You can write with your bump, whatever you want. For example, let's write, you can do it from your homes too. We write the letter A. We form the letter A. Or you can even write a whole word. Let's write the word apple. A, P, P, L, E. You can do it with this part of your body and whichever part of your body we want. A, the letter A, or even with your nose, A. Also, you can do gymnastics. You can exercise in your class. You can say that it is yoga time. You can lie on the floor and create with your body's letters that you want. Writing is really important. Firstly, you have to have already visualized the word or the letter that you want your students to write. In addition, what else you can do, and it is really much helpful for your dyslexic students, is to write on the back of your students. You create pairs of students, and then you ask one of the two students to write on the back, by tracing the letters, on the back of his classmate. This is really multisensory, and not only the student that writes the word learns the word, but also the student that feels the sense in his back learns how the word is written, because he feels the tracing of the word. It's really helpful for dyslexic students, I have already mentioned, and there are many videos in YouTube that you can watch with the back writing. When I firstly saw, I said, okay, what a silly idea is this? But then I tried it and it was really helpful. If the students liked it, it was like kind of mashes, because they were saying, teacher, do me mashes, and they really liked it. So writing on the back of the students is much helpful. It's really funny and multisensory. You can also play with your students Kahoot. Kahoot is an application that everybody can download. It is free. So in order to practice vocabulary, you can do the following. You create a quiz, because Kahoot works with quizzes. You create a quiz. You put on a picture, for example, the word apple, and you put a picture of an apple, and then you give them multiple choices of the possible writing, of the possible spelling of the word. So the students have to click on the correct spelling of the word. In this way, they visualize the orthography of the word and they learn it. So this creates also a challenge in your class. They can be in teams, but they can also work individually. and they really have fun. The winner can also take a prize, a reward, and of course all the class according to the points that they have collected in the end. Then I have some pictures from the interactive notebook that I usually make. Here it's the first lesson that we do, the hello lesson, where it is a picture in the interactive notebook where I have used sticky notes. In each sticky note I have written the letter that I want, and then I mix them up and I ask the students to put them in the correct order into their notebooks in order to write the word hello. In this way they can do this activity over and over again. They can stick and take off the sticky notes many times in order to practice the word hello. They can trace it with their with their pencil, as far as you can see, but also they can write it with some sticky notes. It depends on the mood of the students on which of the two activities you're going to use, the pencil part or the sticky notes part, or both, whatever. Another picture from the interactive notebook that I have is the one that I showed you with the name, the way that they practice their names, especially at the first lessons. And then we're moving on the beans that I have already shown you. How do I use them in the interactive notebook? I glue on the back side of the beans Velcro. So the students can stick the beans on the notebook and then take them off. Put them in the correct order and add the word that they want. For example, the word egg, the word ice cream. Here the letters are not correct. I have to mention that. I'm really sorry. I apologize for that. They're not correct. But imagine that you have E, G, G. So they're mixed and they have to write. Why do I use Velcro? I use Velcro because the students really like the sound of the Velcro. The sound that the Velcro does when they put on the beans and they take them off. They really like the sound. It's really funny for them. And also these beans can be still in their notebook in this way without being lost. So we have written some words with the beans. Here there is another picture of my interactive notebook. The word salad and the word biscuit. You can practice the vocabulary that you want. It's up to you. Here it is a picture of the salad and they have to write the word salad using the beans and Velcro. In this way you can create interactive notebooks. Also in your interactive notebooks you can include the tongue depressors. You can have an envelope, put inside the tongue depressors and then ask them to put them out and write the words that you want. What I advise you for the tongue depressors is not to write the letters that you want using permanent markers. Because the tongue depressors are wooden, usually the marker is spread and the image that is created is not really it's not really good. So use pencil in order to write the letters, because as far as you can see from the picture that you have in front of you, the color of the permanent marker has been spread and it's not so appealing for me. So this would be another idea. Moving on, a last activity that I want to show you, and you can practice writing, but in this case with pencil, is by using a dice. What you do? You glue on their notebooks pictures. For example, here we have glued dress, hat. You do not glue it as a whole, but you glue a part so you can take off and create a case under the picture. So under the picture you can have a small case. You throw the dice, and the times that the dice says 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know, they have to write the word under the picture that they have. So in this way, they will just have a brief look at the way that the word is written, and then they have to turn back and write it under the pictures, the word that they want. So in this way, they practice their writing. Of course, they use pencil in this case, but if they are lucky and the dice shows only once, so they will write the words only once. In this way, a challenge also is created, because when they throw the dice, they say, oh, I scored 1, and you 5. Oh, you're not lucky, you're silly. These are some comments that they usually make in the class. So these are some ways of interactive writing that I had to show you. I hope they were really helpful. I'm waiting on the chat for some questions if you want to ask me. I am available for some more minutes. What I have to say in order to conclude is that these kinds of interactive activities are really tough to be made by the teachers. They need much time, as you have commented. But if you're passionate, if you like crafts and so on, you will see that a kind of creativity is going to be born from inside you. The result that is going to have on the students is really amazing. They really like it. Be patient. Try to spend some hours because this material is going to remain for you. Love your job. Love your students. Inspire your students. And you have to work a lot every day. Be creative. Inspire. That's all for me. I wish you to have a nice day. Thanks for attending. I'm here for whatever you want. Thank you.